Woo! It's sports and drafts, big week, Super Bowl week. It's the week we all been waiting for. It's game time, baby. Hey everyone, welcome to Sports and Drafts. I was gonna say I'm Dave, he's Chuck. He's Dave, I'm Chuck. And welcome to the show, everybody. You got your football, you're ready. Game this weekend, Sunday. Somebody's gonna win. We'll talk about Dave's got his
Went all the way
touchdown
down
dance.
the stairs.
Did it really? Do your little icky shuffle. So, hey everyone. Anyway, welcome to the show. And man, lots going on. You know, it seems like every week you add to your background, all your sports stuff that you got going on back there. It just seems like it grows. But
Yeah, I'm
like
gonna be like
gremlins,
hoarders.
right?
Pretty soon it'll be a full background. There'll be no clear space. I'll
That would be
fill it
cool.
all in eventually.
That would be cool. Hey, so we got obviously the game is this weekend, and a lot going on. I think we were talking earlier. Well, there's not a lot of games last week we really talk about the Pro Bowl, and but other than that, some of the stuff we'd normally do isn't really going to be there. But so before we get started, and I know you already showed me what you have, but why don't you share what your draft is of the week, because we are sports and drafts.
We were just talking before the show. Chuck's always been a big Star Wars fan. I think he has some Star Wars behind him. Also, my stepson and I have been big into the Mandalorian show on Disney Plus, also the new Boba Fett show. So out of that, I kind of got a Star Wars themed beer I found the other day. It's from Paperback Brewing in Glendale, California, and it is called Pog Wars. It is a 6.3%, and it is a passion fruit orange guava milkshake IPA, 6.3%. And it has these fun little take on Star Wars characters all around it. Nice little can here. One I'll probably take the top off and keep just because it's just amazing. I mean, you used to just have the name of the beer, Coors Light, Bud
Right.
Light. Boring, right? Now you got all these craft beer companies that it's just like the art on the can really draws you towards it. And, some companies even have competitions. Hey, design a, can label or whatever. And they get artists involved now and all sorts of stuff. So really fun to see all the different types of fun, cans and art that gets put on cans now. And some of them are so good. I have to keep them. Like I said, I pop the tops off, I clean them, and stick pens on my desk, scissors, letter openers. They're kind of my little storage on my desk here. So I have like 4 or 5 different cans that I just have office things in here on my desk. And this I'll probably add to that collection with this. It's a nice gold color, kind of. It is kind of
All
a
right.
milk, kind of a hazy. Looks like a hazy IPA, kind of. Oh yeah, nice and light. No aftertaste, real smooth. Oh, that cold day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd get more of these for a cold day for sure. Fruity.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that can is awesome. And you're right. I go to Total Wine and More, and it seems like more and more of the cans are just kind of out of this world with the artwork that they have on them, and that's awesome. Mine is not that exciting in a lot of different ways. So tonight I've got also brewing 89 ale, and let me get that out in front of my face. This is an amber. Comes in the in a pint, so it comes in the 4-pack. 5.7, I believe it. It's not on the can, but I looked at the label. I think it was a 5.7. It's out of Phoenix, Arizona here, and so I am trying to really stick with a lot of the local brews. The artwork is not really anything to write home to mom and dad about, but it does have kind of a map of the area. It's one of those cans though that let me go around here. It's just the aluminum can, and they've put the paper. It's a paper label, really, and but it was an amber ale, and so I thought, I like the ambers. It has a fantastic color. I
Yeah.
already had one. I had one earlier today. I had to give it a go. Um, I would never lie to our fans because I'm going to tell you I'll never buy this again.
Bitter.
It's flat.
Oh, that stinks.
It's absolutely flat. I mean, it tastes like it
Tastes
it,
like
it
Tastes like the
tastes like
label on the can.
tastes like the label on the can. And so obviously, 89 Ale and also Brewing is not going to be sponsoring the show anytime soon. But if you're around here and you see this, I would say pick up something else. And there's one of those. What is it? Newcastle. Newcastle's a good beer, but it doesn't really have it's just still kind of flat. It's easy drinking. This would definitely be, as far as the color, which is fantastic. I mean, it's got fantastic color, but it just doesn't have a lot of flavor. But I'm still gonna enjoy it. It's a beer. It's in the glass, and I'm never, that makes life happy. So, cheers, and on we go with the show. And so hopefully these things work up fine. But we had an Australian Open this past week, and so of course Rafael Nadal won this, and is kind of I think there was a lot of thunder stolen on this one because of Novak Djokovic, and the whole, not being vaccinated, not being able to get the exemption, thought he had the exemption. They basically quarantined him, and he went through the courts, and one day it was like, okay, yeah. And then later that day it was still a no. And so he wasn't able to defend his title from last year. But so I think that literally took a lot away from the entire week. And, but yeah, so I don't know if you have something else you want to share on this, but this guy's, still playing.
It was just kind of an amazing match. As you can see at the bottom there, it's just the third comeback from 0-2 at a major for Nadal in his career. And he beat a guy that is, 10 years younger than him, a decade younger. So, even by no means is he an old man, but in his sport, he's an older competitor. But to play a marathon match like he did, I believe that the match lasted like 5 hours.
Yeah.
So, to play a 5-hour match against someone a decade younger than you and have enough energy to go out there and win it and come back and win it, it kind of just signifies why he's one of the greatest ever of those. He's top three. It says it right there. Federer and Djokovic and him, they're the best. They're the best three to ever do it. So he just put another notch on his tennis racket there on that one. So well done to him. Just still making history.
And I'm gonna let you go through with this one, these next two, and
I just saw this and it was crazy. When I saw this, I was, I don't know, browsing through ESPN or something and just looking at little memes and stuff, and this came up, and I am a big fan of these coincidental freak statistic type things, and so Desmond Bain here, he wears number 22. It's his second year in the NBA. He shot 22.2% from the field. He had 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers, 2 fouls. And he didn't make a 2-pointer. So, and his number's 22. So, everything was just 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And he did this on February 2nd, 2022. So, he did all of this on February 2nd, 2022, and all of his stuff is just basically 2s or 22. One of the craziest stats I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, this actually just popped. I was down, so I guess I'll cover this one. I was actually just downloading an image on my other screen. It popped up over here, over top of what we were just talking about. But so the Phoenix Open is here this weekend. This week. Things started actually on Monday. Today was, I believe, the Pro-Am, and I'm a few little golf groups around Phoenix, and people selling tickets, people showing pictures while they're there. I think this is the 16th hole, and short little par 3. But we were out in Scottsdale, and all of that you see, everything, like the grandstands and everything, the boost. That's all temporary stuff that they build. And we saw that we were doing some shopping out in Scottsdale, Leela and I, and we saw the back outside of this, and it's like I can't imagine building this entire structure around a hole for 1 week. And but last night they had a big concert there. A bunch of big names there. I don't know who they were though, because I didn't write them down, but it was all over the news. But so we got the Phoenix Open here this week, and I was actually looking at tickets. I just couldn't find. I mean, people are now selling them, but they're like crazy expensive, and to get some of the hospitality suites and the general admission, you can't really get those any longer. So, but yeah, so we've got that. So really, the gameplay starts tomorrow for the Phoenix Open, and I got to get rid of this now and get your stuff back. But,
That's cool.
So basically, yeah, the only other thing was that on your picture, I actually closed it all out. So I'm just going to get rid of all of this now. Was the NBA trade deadline is tomorrow. Do you see any big things, any big moves happening?
Kind of. Some of the things that went down, I was kind of reading, I wrote a few down. Domantas Sabonis, so Arvydas Sabonis' son, who's an all-star, plays for the Pacers. He got traded, went from the Pacers. He's going to Sacramento. And Indiana gets some pretty good players. They get Tyrese Halliburton, a really good young player. And they get Buddy Hield, who's a big-time three-point shooter. They also got Tristan Thompson, who's a veteran defensive player and rebounder. Probably a guy that they can have for the rest of the year, and then maybe drop his contract and save some money on the books for the future cap space. Sacramento also got Jeremy Lamb, who's a guard off the bench that does okay. Justin Holiday, who's going to be kind of sitting further down on the bench. Big-time trade, too. We're from Oregon. I follow the Blazers. That backcourt of Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum is no longer together.
Really?
C.J. McCollum got traded with Larry Nance Jr. and Tony Snell from Portland to the New Orleans Pelicans. The Blazers will get back from the Pelicans Josh Hart, who's a very great effort player, lots of steals, assists, plays tough. They got Thomas Satoransky, who was traded, I believe, again today. So he's got traded to two teams within 24-hour period. So that makes fun if he has a family, he's trying to figure out where the hell he's going to live. Because who knows, he was traded to two different teams within a day. Nice young kind of talent, Nikhil Anderson-Walker, who's going to be a kind of a prospect player, has some potential, also went to Portland, a younger player that they'll probably drop contract. But Portland also got 2022 first-round pick from New Orleans and two of their 2 second-round picks from New Orleans. And if you look at their record, New Orleans isn't a great team. So that first-round pick could be a pretty high pick for the Blazers. So they pick up basically a lot of cap space, and they pick up a fairly high first-round pick at the end of this season. A good guard in Josh Hart that can kind of fill in, and he's a better defensive player than CJ is. A lot of cap space, and then, like I said, they're going to have some young picks, so they're going to be able to put some pieces around Dame, some young guys. Anthony Simmons has played really well since Dame's been out, which Dame's out probably for the rest of the year. I'm pretty sure the rest of the year. So the Blazers are probably going to get another good first-round pick of their own because they're not going to have a very good record, I don't think. Karis LeVert went from Indiana to Cleveland, gives them some offensive punch in the backcourt off the bench. Cleveland's a very good team. I've been watching Cleveland. They had a really good young team. They got some good veterans in Kevin Love and Rajon Rondo. They're kind of a scary playoff team, maybe. They could definitely run with some people. And they traded Ricky Rubio and a 22 first-round pick over to Indiana. So Indiana's got another first-round pick coming. The Blazers are basically getting rid of their whole team. They also got rid of forwards Robert Covington and Norman Powell. That frees them up a lot of cap space. So they're going to build around basically Dame, and they're going to have a lot of picks, and they're going to have a lot of money to spend. next year on free agents,
and that
and
might
they're
keep
just
him
going to be
there.
like, "Who do you want? Who do you
Yeah.
want? We can basically play anyone, whatever you want. Like,
Yeah.
who's your number 2 guy? Who do you want that's available?
Exactly.
We'll do everything we can to get them." So, yeah, they're in a rebuild mode. A lot of the other trades were just for cap space. A lot of young players going to certain teams, developmental players, things to move money around, to move cap around. Nothing big right now. The biggest one that's still out there that there's rumors is James Harden for Ben Simmons. So
Ooh.
Harden going to the 76ers, Ben Simmons going to Brooklyn. That's the rumor. That's the biggest trade talk right now that hasn't been done, but it's the biggest rumor out there. So we'll see if that happens by the end of the trade deadline tomorrow or not, but that's the biggest possibility rumor still floating around that's trying to get done, and that would definitely be the biggest trade.
I don't see that happening. You still have, I mean, is Kyrie Irving still only playing away games?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, you can have Durant, the only guy on the floor.
Yeah. Well, the other rumor is
at home.
if the Lakers are going to move anybody, are they going to move Westbrook? Would they move Anthony Davis? Any of their big players? Westbrook mainly more than anyone else is the rumor of he might get traded, but I mean, the way he's playing, I don't even know who you're going to get for him. Really, like
exactly. The Harden trade. I don't know if he has any. He probably doesn't have any say in it. I don't know if he has any say in it. If you're trading me, it has to be to a contender.
Well, Philly's not bad. He'd go play with Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris, and they're a pretty good team. Especially when you only have Kyrie for half the games, and KD's hurt all the time this year. I mean, so it's like maybe I'd want to go to Philly.
Yeah, exactly. The Nets they probably have a better chance than the Nets do this year. Yeah. I mean, KD will be fine by the time you months down the road when you get to the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, and then Kyrie, and hopefully, maybe the whole COVID thing will turn around, and they won't have the restrictions any longer, and he'll be able to play all the home games as well. But I mean, I can't imagine him giving up Harden, and because the guy he's been consistent. He's been the one consistent on that team, and I don't know. So hey, just wanted to give a shout out, Robert. Thanks for joining the show, Kim. I'm sure I haven't seen them check in yet, but Jim and Cindy are here, I'm sure. And but thanks for joining the show. And Kim's says wish you could see your cousin Matt play. I would love to get out and play with Matt, but for anyone who doesn't know Matt, he is actually a golf pro coach, has been his entire life. Graduated from ASU here, and became a golf pro. He also helps coach the ASU girls golf team, and has won a national title with ASU and the Sun Devils, and then also just won with those girls another winter tournament last month. And so he's doing that, and he's a coach, he's a golf coach every day, but we hang out with him from time to time, and I've been pretty hardcore. Nope, you and I will never play golf together. I would never put you through that pain and agony. And then he was telling us a story that he played with some family members, something like that, and one of them was shot, well over 100. I'm like, okay, maybe. And he was joking about and have fun, and I'm all right, maybe we can play. So your parents have some friends coming at the end of the month, and I might actually reach out to them, and I don't know if Raleigh and Debbie Marshall are coming, and I don't know if Matt knows them, and Raleigh, and but anyway, Raleigh wants to play some golf, and so may reach out to him and see if he wants to if he has time. I mean, right now, I'll tell you what, right now is not. I mean, for someone who lives here, right now is not the time to play golf in Arizona, because the courses are as nice as they're going to be all year because the weather, and you have all the snowbirds here. The prices are like crazy insane, and you can't get a tee time. Yeah, I was looking at tee times. Just sometimes I'll go out. Sometimes I'll go out on a Wednesday because I don't have a morning meeting and I can get a round of golf in. And um, but the place I normally play, my home course, I'd call it. Uh, you know, I could log in at 5 o'clock and get like a 8 o'clock tee time. In the summer, and now if you like go on the day before, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon the next day before you can get a tee time, and it's only 9 holes because twilight, you're not going to be able to finish. Uh, but yeah, and then the price is some of the courses that could be like 70, $80 a round are like $300-$400 a round. And it's just absolutely insane, the golf scene in the winter. And I didn't, I really wasn't playing last winter, so it didn't really hit me until this year as I started playing a lot more. And now it's like, yeah, I'm not probably going to be able to play until it starts getting warm again, and to get an early morning, because I'm kind of one of those. I have some of that anxiety of I don't really want to play with anyone else because I'm going to shoot between a 90 and 100, and that's kind of where I've been landing. And so, I don't want to, get paired up with someone that. But again, the courses I play, they're not high end courses, so you're not going to get people there that are going to be shooting, the 60s and 70s. So, I think the best player I've played with is like shot an 85 one round, and I shot a 93. So, you know, it's like, okay, it's not really that bad. But anyway, um, so we got before we get into, we got a lot of football to talk about. We got the big game this weekend, and but before we do, I'd like to jump in and do your play it through person of the week.
Cool.
And if you're ready for that, and
Always
we'll
ready.
go on with that. So I'm just going to step aside, enjoy a couple of sips here of my amber ale, and let you take care of the play it through person of the week.
Cool, man. Yeah, this week's Play It Through Person of the Week just kind of fell into my lap or into my eyes this week watching the Olympics. So me and my wife have been watching the Winter Olympics, like probably a lot of people around the world. And so this week, Play It Through Person of the Week is 27-year-old snowboarder Max Perot. He won the gold medal in the men's slope style with a score of 90.96. And this happened on Monday. 3 years ago, after he won the silver at the 2018 Winter Olympics, Max ended up testing positive for a rare form of Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer, really nasty type of cancer. One of my wife's best friends, Matt Lowney, went through this, and she saw him go through this. And just like Matt, Max had to go through the 12 rounds of chemotherapy treatment. He's been cancer-free, thankfully, since July 2019. He also has a documentary film out called Max Life as a Gold Medal, where he was followed 24/7 for 8 months by a camera crew of him going through the process of his chemotherapy, him getting his strength back, because the chemotherapy basically saps all your muscle strength. You have to basically regain in physical therapy your muscle back, your strength back. And so they filmed him doing that. Max is very thankful for all the support he received from everyone, especially his snowboarding team that helped him play it through it. And another fun fact is Max competed against one of my wife's friend's son, Sean Fitzsimmons, who is a snowboarder who was in this competition, the men's slope style. And he's from Hood River, Oregon. And my wife has known this young gentleman since he was a very small child. And so it's been fun because she was messaging her friend. She was looking in on a watch party they had for Sean. He was actually a top 3 qualifier in the qualifiers. And then unfortunately, this is his first Olympics. He's a young fella, early 20s. He was trying to go big in all 3 runs that he had in the finals. And unfortunately, he fell in every single one of his runs. And so he, finished last out of the 12 finalists. But the good thing for him is he's so young that we should see him in several more Olympics. And not only that, he's also in the big air competition on Sunday and Monday. So he still has a chance to get a medal or do well in the big air competition in these Olympics. So that's very cool. My wife was just watching with so much emotion because she's known this kid since he was little. So that was really fun for me to watch because she was so close to an Olympic athlete and his family. But once again, all the kudos go for Max. He had the best run, his last run, to overtake a Chinese slope style uh, uh, competitor, and so he took the lead on his last run and ended up winning the gold. And to do that 3 years after surviving from this terrible Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer was just amazing. So that's why he's the Play It Through Person of the Week. Also, speaking just about Play It Through, if you go to the Play It Through Facebook or Instagram pages right now, speaking of cancer, we talked about Debbie and Raleigh Marshall earlier. My parents' friends, their daughter Candace is actually going through. She has a rare form of cancer, metastatic cancer, that she was found in a mammogram, and she's had her second chemotherapy treatment. And right now, for Play It Through, if you buy any Play It Through merchandise that has to do with any type of cancer from now until the end of March, all the profits that are made, or basically all the remaining money from how much I charge for the Play It Through merchandise to what it costs me to have that merchandise made, will go to Candace and her husband Mike to help with gas, to help with food, traveling for her chemotherapy trips from La Grande, Oregon to Portland, Oregon. She has to do these every Monday. She has to do 12 of them. Like I said, she just had her second one. So there's just so much expense, for treatment for cancer and everything like that. So if you want to get on there, you want to support Candace, you want to support anybody else, get yourself some Play It Through merch. It goes to a really great cause. I have some new items that, are coming out that you might like more than some of the old stuff. I'm wearing one right now. So I have this snazzy white flex fit hat. If you've seen any of the hats, it's been normally the black ones, but now I have these white ones. And if I take it off and put it closer, you can see this is the first embroidered Play It Through piece. So this is all stitched. It's very nice. Really a game changer, a next level, item. And I'm also going to get some polo shirts with the logo also embroidered on the chest here, a small logo embroidery on the chest on some polo shirts. So we're going to have some little bit nicer items pretty soon here for Play It Through that you can order. And of course, we'll always have all the old options also if you like some of those. So check it out, support good causes, and, everyone continue to play it through.
No, it's awesome. And you've been sharing this gal's story all week, and the comments and the support that's already starting to come through is just, people are rallying behind. And I hope that, as with anyone, that she's absolutely 100%, able to play it through. And maybe someday it's a story that we can have her on the show and
Yeah.
as well. But thank you, Kim, and and everyone keep her in her prayers, and but thanks for sharing that, Kim. I love the hat as well, and so yeah, I mean, good stuff there. And the guy that you chose this week, I'm not gonna lie, we are absolutely usually an Olympic family, and we haven't watched 1 second yet this year. And, it's been a busy time, I guess, but we haven't watched anything yet this year. Probably the only real person I'm still kind of excited for that I don't think is going to win gold again. He already holds the record, but Shaun White. And, and it was kind of like 2 weeks before the Olympics, I found out he was competing. And it's like, really? You've already won 3 golds and out of 4 Olympics or whatever it is, if you think about that, this is what his 20th, somewhere between that. Yeah. Like his 5th Olympics, years. Right? So 20 years that he's been involved in the Olympics, and and he won three golds out of his 4 Olympics, which is obviously a record, and that I don't think anyone's going to break. The guy's just is just a phenomenal athlete in his genre of sport, and so I'll probably I think it was Christina put up the curling post on Facebook about curling. Just looks like a bunch of dudes, saying trying to get away from the wife for a week, and all of a sudden they end up in the Olympics. We watched those guys. That the picture was actually of the 2018 Olympic team that won gold, and we literally sat there and watched all of the curling, and we were enthralled. I remember in 2018 we were absolutely enthralled with curling for the first time ever, and we were online. Hey, where can we go to learn curling? And there were actually rinks or ice rinks around where they did curling, and you could just go and rent and go. You didn't have to take a lesson or anything. He's like, okay, here's your gear, go out there and do it. And we never actually did it, but that would have that'd be fun just to see. All right, how hard is this? Because I mean, I could totally see us in a co-ed curling team.
Well, and I know why we like curling, because I watched all that too, and one of the gentlemen got to actually walk in the opening ceremony with the flag. It was one of the curlers from the gold medal team.
Oh, really?
He got to carry one of the flags to lead out Team USA in the opening ceremony. But we in our family, we like curling because we're a bocce ball family.
Yeah, we are.
And it's very similar. I
Yep.
mean, it's all the strategy of how do I get inside that other ball? Do I have to knock the other team's ball away because they're closer? I mean, it's bocce ball on ice. That's what it is. I mean, it's a lot more difficult because you're on skates and you're sweeping, and you're using these a lot heavier, I'm sure, objects that you're sliding from a lot further distance. But yeah, we're a bocce ball family. We've played bocce ball since I can remember, and it's kind of the same. It's the closest to the target that you're going for, and you switch turns, and you have to have that strategy of how do I get inside the other team, and how do I knock them out of the way, and how do I get as many points as possible. And so yeah, I love the curling too. And just going back to watching the Olympics, so I have as my my TV provider, basically how I watch live TV is through the YouTube TV app. Mm-hmm. And what's great about that app that I love is at the start of the Olympics, it asked me, I mean, it just came up. This option came up automatically. I didn't have to go to it or anything once the Olympics started. And it had all the Olympic events. And it said, what do you want to record? Just select the events you want to record, and they'll automatically record every time. And so I could pick all the events I wanted, and it records them every time that event's on. But what was been even better is some of these go for 4 hours straight, and they'll skip around. It'll go from luge to ice skating to downhill skiing. So it'll chop up different events together. But it will just give me individuals performances. So last night, I didn't want to watch 3 hours of figure skating, but I knew that Nathan Chen had the world record for the short skate performance, right? Freestyle. He got the world record, and I knew that going in, but I didn't see his performance. So I went, and it just had 5-minute clip of just his performance. And so I just went to that, and there it is. I don't have to watch 3 hours. I just watched his whole skate, and I got to see it. And it has that for everything. So now I'm just going through and watching finals of everything. Downhill skiing final, men's slope style final. So all I have to do is look at everything recorded and look where it says final, and I can just watch the final, and I don't have to watch all the qualifiers if I don't want to. If it's a sport I'm not into as much, but I still want to see who won it, I can just go watch the final, and it's 10 minutes instead of 3 hours waiting for the final and getting through everybody. And I can just watch the finals. And so that's been really nice. And that's kind of how we've been watching it, is we're watching all the finals or all the individual performances of people that we follow and we want to see.
Oh, good way to watch it. Yeah, no, I'll have to see what we have. Maybe I can check out get caught up on some of the stuff, but yeah, it just hasn't been really a priority, I guess, in our house with the Olympics. And I don't know, we typically, like I said, 2018 we watched, and as a family, and we just haven't done that. But so anyway, there is some other stuff coming up this weekend, and it's why a lot of people watch our show, and that is I was going to change our background here to there. You can't really see it back there, but yeah, and we got a little bit of football this weekend. I can add that. There's what I threw behind on our background. A little bit of football in Los Angeles. So in Dave's neck of the woods, there happens to be a little bit of a big game called the 2022 Puppy Bowl. And I was told by Hayden to talk about the Puppy Bowl tonight. So so anyway, no, I know not a lot. It's a big thing. I've seen the brackets happening for the Puppy Bowl, and but no, really,
We watch it every year.
Yeah, and it's hard to miss. But and Hayden just got a new puppy, and
I know.
and he's like, oh, this thing would win the Puppy Bowl for sure, and so yeah, he's kind of big on that right now. But no, the Rams and the Bengals. Who would have thought? Now that I say it, I should have went back and looked. I think we talked about it either last week or the week before to see what the preseason odds were of the Bengals making the Super Bowl. And but here they are. Joe Burrow and Chase and everybody, and they're in the Super Bowl.
Their odds, their Super Bowl odds at the start of the year were plus 15,000.
That's yeah.
Some dudes just put 100 on it because they're Bengal homers from Cincinnati. There's some guys with some $100 bets from when they went there in 4th of July or something that put 100 on the Bengals to win it all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I hope they win.
Right? Just like when the Rams did it in 99, 2000. And they had high odds of winning the Super Bowl, or low odds, I guess. And you can make bank if you put money on them. But here they are. The Bengals are there. The Rams are there. I still think that maybe the Rams were probably one of the top. We're probably in the top 5 in the conversation of making the Super Bowl. And they made some year-end moves to really kind of solidify that. And but yeah, so here we are. So the Rams, I mean, I'm trying to like, so what do we actually talk about with the Rams? So let me ask you a question. How is it that you think the Rams win this game this week? Before we even get into our picks, I want to ask you a question. How is it that what plays to the benefit of the Rams? I mean, I think we all know, but what do you think? How do the Rams win this game this week?
Well, when you got the Bengals, you have a young receiver in Chase that has to go against probably a Jalen Ramsey that's going to be in his face the entire game, every offensive player that the Bengals run. That's one, but that's not the most important. So Ramsey with Weddle over the top might take away their biggest deep threat, their biggest big play threat. So then they're going to have to rely on Higgins, Azuma, the tight end. Mixon's going to have to get some yards in there. But I really see it as a disadvantage to the Bengals. So Ramsey is one that he can lock down their best young receiver. The biggest thing, though, to me, is you're going to have to dedicate 2, maybe 3 interior linemen on Aaron Donald, because this is one of the greatest defensive players probably in NFL history. This is his first shot of getting into a Super Bowl. And if you think that guy plays super intense and wild in the regular season, one game to win it all for this guy, he is going to be playing like his life is on the line, which is either they're going to double and triple team him all day because they'll have to. But that's going to open up everything for everything else. Gaines can push the pocket. He was my defensive player last week against the 49ers. He's the other defensive tackle. You have Von Miller that's been an MVP of a Super Bowl for the Denver Broncos, who's just getting better and better since he's joined the Rams, and he's going to come off the edge. So if Donald can push Burrows to Von Miller's side, Von's going to get to him. Or if you can't, I mean, I don't even know if you're going to be able to double Aaron Donald. Because the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line isn't
No.
that amazing. They're not that great. Joe Burrows has been sacked, I believe, more than any quarterback in the NFL this year. So you got a motivated Aaron Donald to win his first Super Bowl, first time in the Super Bowl. Maybe this could be one of the most dominant defensive performances. He's a guy I'm going to watch every time Cincinnati snaps the ball. I'm going to find where Aaron Donald is lined up, and I'm going to be focused on what he's doing. Because a lot of defensive tackles, they don't always get the stats. They don't get a lot of sacks, but he's going to get pass breakdowns. He's going to move the pocket. He's going to rush Joe Burrow and make him move out of the pocket and force his timing off. It could be a very dominant performance. One kind of like if you watched like a Lawrence Taylor when he was in the Super Bowl. So I expect Aaron Donald just to go bananas and show why he's maybe one of the top 5 defensive players of like all time NFL history. Because I don't see him being stopped on Sunday. And that's, I think, their biggest advantage is he's going to throw Joe Burrow's off for such a loop. I mean, and Joe Burrow should be scared for his life on Sunday. I mean, because they're going to have to dedicate either so many guys to stop him that it's going to open everything up for everyone else, or he's going to dominate. So I really find that a huge weakness for the Bengals is having their offensive line having to deal with Aaron Donald and Von Miller.
So I'm going to try and tell you why the Bengals are going to win. And because then I'll ask you how to add on, how the Bengals win. I was kind of looking, doing the limited research that I do each week. And you're the real sports brain here. The Bengals have a chance to make the Rams one-dimensional because they've been able to shut down the run. And, so I'm looking at defense. They're able to get turnovers. So I still think the Rams' weakest link is Matthew Stafford. If he wins this game this week, he's got all my praise. I'll get off his back, whatever. I still think the weakest link of the Rams is Matthew Stafford. The 49ers should have won the game last week. They should have won that game. The Rams did not. The Rams did not beat the 49ers. The 49ers lost that game. They lost to the Rams. And, so they're still a team they're almost right here. It's like, that's why I don't know. But anyway, so also the Rams are one of the worst teams against yards after catch. So if Joe Burrows can make some plays and get the ball out, make some receptions, they can get a lot of yards after catch. And so, and move that ball. And as long as they're continuing to move the ball, the other reason they can win is that they have a rookie kicker that is just probably one of the best kickers that has come into this league. Maybe since Adam Vinatieri. I don't know. I probably put Adam, or Vinatieri up there at the top of just probably the most clutch kickers in all of football history. And this kid, as a rookie, if he's kicking already in the playoffs this clutch and scoring more points than the rest of his team or almost half as many points as his team, it lets a coach say, all right, let's put points on the board because I know my kicker's good for the points. And that keeps you in the game. Now, against the Rams, you're not going to be able to go down necessarily and say, hey, we can settle for 3 unless your defense is on it and the Bengals can get after the quarterback. I'm not saying that. I mean, the Rams have phenomenal defense. I think Joe Burrow, that whole is that battle is one-sided to the Rams. Like you said, I agree with you 1,000% that Aaron Donald and Von Miller and everyone on that defensive side is just going to go gangbusters after Joe Burrows. But I'll tell you what, they're game planning. They're planning for that. They're absolutely planning for that.
They got to get the ball out quick. I'm sure they
Yeah.
got all the plan to 3-step drop, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's got to come out real fast.
And I think that, with Mixon's kind of an outside. I think a lot of teams have tried to run. Just play straight up, run against you up the gut, and that will never work against the Rams. And but you move that pocket, you move that you shift, you move the receiver. The running back outside. I think there's some opportunities for the Bengals to still run the ball or screen pass. To stretch it to the sidelines. But yeah, I think there are some opportunities that for the Rams, and I was just looking at my notes to see what else I had down there. But yeah, even you look at it, and it was even that last game Chase didn't have a huge game, and they still won the game. So you take him out of the game, he's gonna get a catch here, and he's gonna get a catch there, but. And I think the final reason, and I think this is for me, maybe I'm going to hang on to this is probably my shifts me over to maybe select the Bengals, is that they have nothing to lose. They shouldn't be here. They shouldn't be here.
That's what I was thinking too. They're so young. They might just be naive to how big of a moment this is. They weren't supposed to be here. They're all young. So we're just going to play free. We got nothing to lose. Let's just call go routes for all the receivers a few times and throw some bombs, and maybe we get one. Like, they don't. They have not. Plus the team they're playing, it's a home game. It's a home game in the Super. So, we have nothing to lose. We're not supposed to win. We're all young. This is a road game. It's a home game for them.
Yep.
We're going to pull out all the stops. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple trick plays, whatever. We're letting it all hang out. Last game, we got nothing to use. No one expect us to be here. No one expect us to win. We're going to let it all hang out.
Yeah, and I still go back to the 99-2000 Rams. Trent Green goes down in preseason. Kurt Warner gets the call. Mike. I just watched. You had asked me a couple of weeks ago if I'd watched the American Underdog yet, and I hadn't. We watched it last night, and here at the house, and I bought it, and so Mike Marks, we're going to rally around Kurt Warner. We're going to play good football, and they did. They made won the first 8 games, I think it was, and then made it to Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl because they weren't supposed to be there and teams weren't ready for them. That's what it really was. They weren't ready for the greatest show on turf. And they did adjust, teams did adjust next year. So I still think the Bengals have something that teams just haven't seen yet and haven't been able to prepare for. And I think that's probably kind of what set them up to be here. So, Kim, you're always right. I'm always for the underdog. But I want to tell you, Kim, I was a lifelong Rams fan. This is, I was absolutely, since I was 12 years old, I became a Rams fan living in Ritzville, Washington, a town of 1,500 people or something like that, and I became a Rams fan, and because they were fun to watch on TV. And so I was a Rams fan until they decided to get rid of Kurt Warner. And then I just kind of followed him around. And so, but yeah, so did I leave anything out of why maybe the Bengals could win this game?
No, but the Rams are a 4-point favorite. Who are you taking?
I'm taking the Bengals.
Are you?
I'm taking the Bengals.
That's exciting. I'm going to take the Rams, but
I know you are
overjoyed.
The Bengals.
But I would be overjoyed if the Bengals won. I think it would be so great, and I would love to see after the game Joey Burrows up there, young guy, smoking his stogie, holding the trophy, and starting his Cincinnati, Ohio legacy. This young kid wins this Super Bowl for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's never buying a meal in his life ever again in Cincinnati, Ohio. He's going to have sandwiches named after him, just like Roethlisberger has in Pittsburgh. This kid's a legend overnight for the rest of his life in Cincinnati. Matthew Stafford wins the Super Bowl. Great. No one cares. A million freaking famous people live in L.A. We don't care about you, dude. Tom Cruise lives here. We don't get you. whatever. You play what sport? Yeah, that's great. We have billionaires all over the place over here. but Joe Burrows in Cincinnati, Ohio, that guy is a legend for life. That young guy.
I'm not gonna lie. I knew you were gonna take the Rams. I absolutely knew you were gonna take the Rams because it's to me it's an easy pick. But all year long, you have been behind the Bengals.
High on the Bengals, though.
Yeah,
I think they're great. I like them.
Where you started to get me to pick the Bengals, and especially when I had a 13-game lead in our picks, you started getting me to pick the Bengals, and then they kind of lost some games. But then I'm like, no, you know what? I'm gonna stick with the Bengals. I have stuck with the Bengals probably at least the last 5 weeks, and not just the playoffs. And so I'm sticking with them. A little upset you're not.
I'm going to pick the Rams, but I would love to see the Bengals win it. That would be cool.
And so I think I don't have the graph, but I think I'm up on you by 1 game, right? So this will either be a tie or I'll win by our season will end in a tie, or I'll win by 2 games this season. So and I'm gonna tell you what, it's a hard pick for me again, being a Rams fan and then being a previous Rams fan and being then a dedicated NFC West fan. And because I go Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks. And, in that order. So I always pick the NFC West. I just, again, I will do it next year if Matthew Stafford can win this game. And I just think that, if the game is close and on the line, if they can make the Rams one-dimensional, there's going to be some turnovers. Guarantee there'll be some turnovers. So on both sides, probably be on both sides. And
the one thing about Stafford that I very much agree with you with is Cooper Kupp is so phenomenal that he is going to force balls his direction. So if you can use your defensive secondary and you can keep a guy on him and you can double him, or you can show one look and then bring a double late over, to jump a route on him or something like that. Cooper Kupp is so good that Stafford is going to force balls his direction. So if you can kind of see the route coming, you could jump some, you could get it an interception. That's very possible because he's going to throw towards him. It's going to happen. He's going to have a dozen targets, right? He's probably going to have a dozen targets a game, at least. So, the ball's coming his way. So if you can give a certain look and hide a look, and bait Stafford into going his way and jumping it, I definitely think they could get an interception or 2 if they can figure out how to do that, because he's going to Cooper Kupp a lot every game.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
Yeah, it's just odds. You're just playing percentages,
Yeah. I think it's going to be a fun game either way. I won't be heartbroken if the Rams win for any reason. I won't be heartbroken. And, but I'm just pulling for the young team and the young guy, the underdog. And since I just watched the American Underdog, I think I'm, go underdogs. And maybe I'll be back on the Rams bandwagon next year after the Cardinals. So,
So what are you doing for it? You cooking on the flat grill? Anyone coming over? Are you going somewhere?
So,
what's your plan?
No, actually, Leela has to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico next week for working. So we are going to take a road trip on Saturday and head over to Albuquerque. So I will be watching the game somewhere in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and have no idea where yet. And they've got a couple of casinos there. So maybe we can we'll hit a casino or something and watch the game but yeah, so I'll be watching it in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh,
how about you?
Maybe make some clay pots, have a ghost moment together while you watch the Super Bowl. That's cool though. That'll be a good trip.
What are you doing?
Well, since the Niners lost and we're not in it, because I told my wife if the Niners are in it, I don't want anyone over. I'm not going anywhere. Leave me alone and let me watch my game. But since they're not in it, we're going to have Hayden, Jess, and the boys are going to come over. And we're going to have a few other friends with kids over. And we'll probably have kids running around the backyard. And we're going to be cooking. And I'm going to do some, stuffed jalapenos on the grill. And we're going to do up some food and just have some friends over to enjoy the day and enjoy the game and the commercials and the 90s halftime show with Mary J. Blige and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Eminem and all those fun people. So we're excited for the halftime show because that's our generation of music. And just have a good time, have a good day, good food, good drink, like a lot of people that are watching the Super Bowl, and just have a little house party and enjoy watching it since I don't have any stake in it since my team is out. So be very fun. So fun that being the sports fan I am, I wish I could ditch all my friends and family and just drive up and, go to the route outside of the stadium and just tailgate or something and just be a part of the whole experience and everything since it's going to be there. I thought I would throw it out to you. It's going to be in Las Vegas next year or the year after because they have a new stadium. The Super Bowl is going to be there.
Next year it's here.
Yeah, next year it's there. So maybe I'll go there and we'll check out the week. See, because there's always events all week before leading up to the game in whatever city it's in. There's tons of stuff going on and different events that you can go to whether you have tickets to the game or not. So maybe that'd be fun to do with you next year. And then I think the year after that it's in Vegas. So maybe I'll go to Vegas and check out the events the week before. Check out some of that stuff. But it would just be fun to be around that atmosphere, to be around the energy. There's so many players, celebrities just in the city for the whole week. I mean, every press, every media, corporation is there for the whole week for interviews and lead up to the game. And I would like to see that energy. As big of a sports fan as I am, I would just like to be around that Super Bowl game energy and see all the things that are going on, whether I am going to go to the game or not. Right. And if it's this close, I don't really have too many excuses why. It's in LA, then it's 15 minutes from your house, then it's in Las Vegas. That's a 4-hour drive. The next 3 Super Bowls are literally 5 hours or less drive from my house. So I need to check out one of these times, one of the next 3 years where I can just go, the Thursday, like Tuesday through Thursday or Wednesday through Friday, and just see what the energy is and what events are going on and how much fun it is to be in the city right before the Super Bowl. Or even at a bar watching it in the city and then be right by the stadium. Like there's that shopping center where we had lunch right across the street from the stadium where the Super Bowl is going to be.
The Oregon Ducks were playing.
Yeah. Get a reservation, go have some Mexican dinner, and right after the Super Bowl, watch everyone come out and celebrate and have a great time. And
you're less than a quarter mile away or eighth of a mile away from where the game is actually happening. And
just feel that big game energy, of post game and the winners and the losers, and just feel that energy in the air after a big event like that would be really fun.
Yeah, no, I didn't pull it up, but I went up this weekend for a bike ride. And went up to the Cardinal Stadium where the next Super Bowl was, and took some pictures outside there. I don't know if you saw the post, but they have a Pat Tillman memorial there, and so I did some kind of the whole Pat Tillman kind of that's outside the stadium there. They got an infinity pond with his dedicated to him and some other people, and so, I have to do something from the stadium here in a week or two, so excited that next year it's going to be here, and it's a nice stadium, and hopefully, I'll have my season tickets next year, and it'll be fun to go to quite a few games there next year.
Well, if you have season tickets, you got dibs on Super Bowl tickets, I think. After, I think the teams, whoever are in it, season ticket holders have dibs to the rest of the tickets.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what that's like and how much they are. You know,
Gosh, hopefully they're not like LA. Nosebleeds are like $5,000.
no.
They're nuts in LA right
no
now.
interest.
They're
Yeah,
crazy.
I have no interest in that.
I'd have to sell my car just to go sit in the nosebleeds at this year's Super Bowl in LA.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm happy to watch it at home, unlimited food and drink. You know, I'm not paying that much money for. At least at the Cardinal Stadium, when you buy a beer, it's a huge one. It's like 24 ounces or so. It's a big one. So it's not, and I'm sure that's probably the way it is a lot of places now. But it's not that you're drinking smaller ones and going back and forth a lot. But yeah, so no, it's good. I'll look forward to that, but also don't want to lose sight of this weekend. So everyone, hopefully got your picks in, and I think Kim's got the Rams, she said, and Kim's going to your cousin's house for the Super Bowl. With
Which cousin? I have 35 cousins. I'm guessing she's saying Amber and Marcos. I'm guessing it's Amber.
Oh, okay. But
that would be my guess.
But anyway, folks, well, have a fantastic week. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and join us back here next Wednesday for Sports and Drafts. Join Dave and I. And hey, have a fantastic week, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye now.